What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Night Terror's The Flash, issue number 1. So far, what we have seen is Insomnia, the villain that has struck the world. He has forced the entire world into an eternal slumber. This includes all the heroes and all the villains, because he is searching all of their dreams for the Nightmare Stone. If you want to follow everything that's happening with Insomnia, I highly recommend that you check out the playlist. It's gonna get you caught up on all of the one-shots to include individual characters like Batman, Green Lantern, Ravager, so on and so forth. But in this issue, we are gonna be focusing on Barry Allen. The Flash has been put to sleep, and we are now going to see what the Scarlet Speedster's nightmares are all about. What does the fastest man in the world fear? What does he see when he closes his eyes? And is he fast enough to stop it? Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we jump into the Flash's nightmare scenario, we pick up with Barry getting a phone call, with Iris on the other end, letting Barry know that he needs to get here and he needs to get here now. Getting there in a flash, asking what happened. Iris is letting him know that Jay said Wally took on Grodd all by himself. Jay coming into the room. Jay Garrick letting it be known that this happened on his watch. That if he had been faster, if he hadn't blown out his ankle, he might have been able to stop what happened. Grodd had gotten hold of the Spear of Destiny. He was using it to amplify his telepathic abilities. And when Wally got in his way, they say that Wally slowed down, telling Barry that he needs to go see him, that Wally has been asking for him. When Barry goes into the room, we see that Kid Flash is in a very rough spot. The doctors can't stop the bleeding. Wally's metabolism is a three-ring circus, too fast and too slow at the same time. There is a turbocharged infection rotting away his organs. Looking at Wally, he sees that he is nothing more than a kid, asking himself, what was I thinking? Why would I have ever let him put on that costume in the first place? With Wally barely able to breathe, he is apologizing to Barry for going too slow. But he says it was the Speed Force, that something is all wrong with it, that there was some kind of monster in the lightning. This is what takes us over to Iron Heights, picking up with Warden Wolf. He has come to see Gorilla Grodd. He has come to ask, what did you do to Kid Flash? The way that Grodd sees it, he had the Spear of Destiny. He was using it defensively, fully expecting it to hit air. But then Wally slowed down, saying that it was an accident and nothing more. With Grodd angering Barry, we see the Flash phase through the cell. In a fit of rage, he begins just laying down some hate. He gives Grodd one heck of a beatdown. And Barry looking at his fists, blood all over the place. Grodd's face beat the heck in. Barry is recognizing that this isn't him, that he doesn't do this, that all of this is upside down. Linda, the Warden, Wally's costume, with Barry taking off. He takes off to the Justice League Watchtower. Walking into the Watchtower, this is where he is immediately hit by Hal Jordan, with Hal apologizing, saying that nobody ever really comes up here anymore. He figured it was a bad guy, but when Barry looks up and he sees Hal, but this is not the Hal that he remembers, with Hal going on to say that he saved the world. All the way back in the Final Night issue number 4, he absorbed the Sun Eater, and though it killed him, his heart had stopped, but his will wouldn't quit. And so now he looks like this. He looks like this monster. But Barry is here so he can go back, saying that he needs Hal Jordan's help to do so. He steps onto the cosmic treadmill, and Barry runs. With Hal Jordan holding the cosmic treadmill together, Barry runs as fast as he can. He knows that something more is going on, that someone is watching him. An unease grows over him as he enters the time vortex. It's almost as if the Speed Force is resisting him, as if there is something that it didn't want him to see, something obscene. With Barry breaking through, he arrives in Keystone City in the past, when Grodd had Kid Flash in his grasp, and he knows the implications of being here. He knows that stopping this could ruin everything. While Wally does his best to fight against Grodd, Barry simply watches. He waits to see this monster in the lightning. But as he watches Wally do what he does, he has to admit at how glorious it is. As the moment approaches, Wally should have sidestepped one of these punches very easily, looking around for the monster, risking everything by coming here, whole universes. He has to believe that this monster in the lightning is real, or else all of this was for nothing. As Wally rushes in, the very moment we see Barry running in, regardless of that monster in the lightning, he refuses to let anything happen to him. He had promised Iris. He had promised Jay. He had promised himself. Barry acts, but he fails at the same time. Looking up, Wally sees Barry Allen. But Barry can't speak, moving faster than his own voice. He can only console him. Wally asking, "Did you see it? Did you see it in the lightning?" With the Speed Force clutching at Barry Allen, it drags him kicking and screaming. But in that moment, he sees it. In that moment, he sees Wally's monster. Alright gang, so as we pick up with this issue, we are picking up with Barry Allen trying time and time again. He tries to stop the Spear of Destiny from piercing the side of Wally West. He tries 2 times, 9 times, 33 times, and then a number we don't even know, simply signifying that he has tried so many times and he has failed over and over and over again. No matter what he does, no matter how many times he goes back, he cannot stop that spear. What we are also seeing is that this is taking a toll on Barry Allen, both mentally and physically. Every attempt, it transforms him. It pushes back against him. He becomes a monster, disfigured and warped from the Speed Force, as Barry makes his way to Wally West sitting in that hospital. After so many attempts, he can do nothing. While sitting here and talking with Iris, he says that there is something else in there. There is a creature in the Speed Force, and it pulls him away every time he is inches away from saving Wally West. He calls this resistance, saying that there is friction in the Speed Force. And this resistance has caused his body the need to compensate. This is what has caused his almost monstrous shape. This is what has caused him to become so disfigured, that resistance in the Speed Force is changing him into a monster. And Iris is telling him that you have to stop this. You have to stop before it is too late, before you never even recognize what you see in the mirror. This is when Barry's mother comes into the room. And while Barry expects some kind of little pep talk from his mom, what he really gets is a pep talk from Insomnia. Now, he doesn't understand this, but this is not his mother. This is Insomnia using his mother as a ploy to get Barry back into the nightmare. Iris was always the one to ground him and let him know what path he should be taking. When he doesn't know, she is his heart. But obviously, Insomnia cannot have everybody just stopping their nightmares. We have seen this over and over and over again. Whenever their psyche tries to interfere and let them know that it's a nightmare or try to stop them in the nightmare, Insomnia shows up ensuring that they continue on, pressing whatever nerves, whatever buttons he needs to ensure that they keep on going. And that is exactly what Barry's mother is doing. At this point, Barry has come to the understanding that he cannot stop Grodd as he is. Not with that creature siphoning his speed, but if he could borrow someone's speed force, then he might just have a chance. This is what takes him to Hal Jordan. He turns to his best friend. And this time, he wants to try something different. He has been going back in time so much. Now he wants to go forward. Now Hal really wants him to stop. They have tried this so many times and it has failed every time. And while this time may be different because he wants to go into the future, Hal lets him know that he is looking horrible, that he smells bad, he looks bad, and he just needs to set this to the side. He may not know anything about the Speed Force, but he can understand what denial is. That maybe it is time that you made peace with the fact that Wally West, you can't save him. But he tells Hal that he can outrun the monster and save Wally, that he just needs more speed. And Jay Garrick doesn't have enough. None of the speedsters do except for one. This is when Hal puts up a shield. He lets Barry know that he won't watch him do this to himself anymore, that he can't help him, that he won't help him. This is where Barry loses it. Moving in a flash, we see him come from behind the shield, and he rips Hal Jordan apart. He hits Hal Jordan so very quickly that his entire body breaks apart. But we also see that Hal Jordan can still talk. The ring is still glowing, even shattered to pieces on the ground. Barry Allen knows that nothing will ever be the same after this. But for Wally West, he will do anything. He tells Hal Jordan to pull himself together because he needs more speed. This is what takes us to Central City in the 25th century. We pick up at the Flash Museum. We pick up with Earbard Thawne. With Thawne hearing that sound, he knows that that is the arrival of Barry Allen. Barry showing up, he picks up the Spear of Destiny. With Thawne waiting for his arrival, knowing that he would show up, he says that the spear corrupts. Whoever wields it ends up being corrupted in some way, shape, or form. But looking at the state of Barry Allen as he currently is, Thawne's gotta think that this has already happened to him, whether it be the spear or something else. But Thawne is more concerned with his timeline being tinkered with. That he is the curator, that he has taken the oath to protect the integrity of all his exhibits. That includes Barry Allen. But Barry lets him know that he is not here for the spear. Barry Allen is here for Thawne's speed. This is where we see the two of them get into it. Speedster versus Speedster. Thawne versus Allen. The Flash versus the Reverse Flash. Now, Barry Allen knows that Thawne is faster than him. He always has been. He is fast enough to unpick his life by the seams. But today is different. This time, Barry Allen has an advantage. A secret weapon. That weapon is desperation. Every other time these two have ever gone against one another, Barry has always held back. He has always stopped himself from going too far. But right now, Barry is more than willing to do whatever it takes. And with Thawne getting the upper hand, he tells Barry that I have studied you, that I know why you're broken, why you can't wake up, asking him if he would like to know why the fastest man alive misses everything. As he prepares to tell him, this is where Barry phases his hand into the chest of the Reverse Flash. And this puts Thawne at pause. Stuttering over his words, he tells Barry to take your hand out of my chest, that we both know you won't let it turn solid. So he tells him to take a breath. But Barry says to look at me. Do you really think you know what I am capable of? Because the truth is, you have no idea. This is when Barry has his hand go solid. Barry Allen losing his hand in the ordeal, but he just took him out. He just killed the Reverse Flash. And then he takes every last drop of his speed. Doesn't even leave him enough to finish his last thought, with his hand being a bloody stump. He's not concerned about it because once he hops into the Speed Force, it'll cauterize instantly. But for the first time, Barry hesitates before hopping on that cosmic treadmill. Acceleration always comes at a cost. He says that this is an engineering problem, that streamlining will only get you so far, but sooner or later you have to lighten the load. Looking in the mirror before he takes off, he wonders who is he? Because the person in that mirror, that's not something he recognizes. We have seen him slowly transforming into a hideous monster, but he lets go of everything. And then he runs. Running through the Speed Force, we see it doing some damage to him, his face being scorched away, and so are his memories. forgetting Starro's name, his first date with Iris, his father's eyes. As Barry cries running through the Speed Force, he lets go of those tears. Nothing more than dead weight. All he can think about is outrunning the monster to save Wally West. And through the Speed Force, he can see his whole family. He can see the moment, the one where Wally West dies. With Barry moving so fast, none of the speedsters see him come in and kiss Wally West on the cheek. Soon, this moment will no longer exist. With the Spear of Destiny in hand, he goes back even further. He goes back to that moment, with Grodd having a Spear of Destiny of his own, preparing to pierce Wally West. He knows that he can do it this time, that he can outrun the monster, that he can stop Grodd, he can save Wally, that he is finally enough, that he can be everywhere at once, he can work every angle, he can be a partner, a cop, a scientist, an uncle, a hero. All he had to do was surrender himself. As he goes in to stop this from happening, that is when the monster grabs hold of him. Barry thought that he was faster this time. He wonders how this is even possible. It is still siphoning his speed. A parasite, a blockage, 1,000 years long. And so Barry takes that Spear of Destiny and he pierces the monster. This many-faced monster he has no idea what is. Not yet anyway. As he comes round to the front of the beast, a troubling thought goes through his mind. He has been back here so many times. All of these past selves. Now he is wondering, where did they all go? This is where he sees that the monster is made up of himself. Dozens upon dozens and dozens of Barry Allens that have all been blended together into one horrible monster. This is the paradox that is haunting the Speed Force, that is drinking it dry. Because who else could this be? At this point, Barry Allen has transformed into something that's not even human anymore. And while he would love to get away, he is unable to escape the Paradox monster. It grabs hold of him. All the other Barrys saying that we can be everywhere, that we can help everybody. They never need to sleep, never need to disagree. Barry Allen has become the monster in the lightning. And this is when he wakes up, being woken because Wally West is tackling him down to the ground. As the two of them go tumbling, Barry looks around and he wonders what the heck has happened. Buildings on fire, destruction all over the place. And Wally lets him know that this was all you. That you have been running in some kind of trance for hours. None of them could reach him. Even Wally West could barely keep up. And Wally's faster than him. This is where he goes in and he hugs Wally. He lets him know that he can never lose him. Not ever. And while they have this great moment, this is where Wally fills him in, saying that it is time to get back into the fight, bringing Barry Allen up to speed. That is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Definitely a fun issue. We're getting to see a version of Barry Allen that doesn't really come about. The truth is, there is always someone there to talk logic to him, to talk some sense into him, or to help him see that there is always another way. But in this nightmare scenario, every person that might be able to do that, he either takes them off the board or they are insomnia. And so anything that might back him away from that edge, insomnia is pushing him over. This is what led Barry Allen to becoming the monster in the first place. On your average, regular, everyday, not Nightmare Land, Barry Allen would accept what has happened. He would never take the chance of going back in time and doing this over and over and over again. He knows the consequences and repercussions. He understands what could happen. But in this nightmare, he lives in his grief. He is so tunnel-visioned, he has a one-track mind. Save Wally West at all costs. Even going as far as taking the speed from the Reverse Flash. Turning himself into a hideous monster that doesn't even look human anymore. But it also shows how much Barry Allen loves the people around him. That love is what drives him. And without proper guidance, he could easily go down the wrong path. If someone he loved, someone he cared about was hurt, without his friends and family there, the Flash could easily be the most dangerous villain to ever live. And when you succumb to your grief, when you succumb to depression, desperation. These can all make you do horrible and atrocious things, but fighting against the need or want to do these things. That is what truly makes a hero. Every single day, Barry Allen could easily reverse everything. He could change the world in a split second. He could rule, conquer, do whatever he likes. But it is the restraint with such power. This is what makes Barry Allen one of the best created characters in comic books of all time. A man with the capability to turn over universes, but with a love so pure that he would never do it. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories, if you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with Night Terrors. Be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.